Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I come to you this morning from the main quadrangle here at Sydney University, and what I'd love to do this morning is go through a book, and the book that I've selected for this morning's episode is entitled I Can If I Want To, a book that was published a long time ago in relative time, published back in 1975 by an author named Alan Fay. Imagine a life where your own thoughts are your worst enemy, constantly sabotaging your happiness and your success. In this book, I Can If I Want To, Arnold, Lazarus and Alan Fay, the dual authors, delve into the profound impact of our beliefs on our well-being. This classic self-help guide reveals how common cognitive mistakes can lead to unnecessary unhappiness and offers a practical guide and strategies to help correct them. By understanding and restructuring our thought patterns, we can reclaim control over our lives and achieve personal growth. So let's see what we can learn and what we can take from this book and go on a walk and talk. We need to recognize and challenge self-defeating beliefs. Many of our struggles stem from irrational beliefs and irrational fears that we've internalized and given weight to and importance to over time. Lazarus and Fay emphasize the importance of identifying these harmful thoughts and questioning their validity. By doing so, we can dismantle the mental barriers that hinder our progress. A great deal of unhappiness is a direct result of our beliefs and the things we tell ourselves over and over again. The author here welcomes us and encourages us to embrace the power of choice. The authors highlight that we often feel trapped by circumstance and circumstances, forgetting that we have the power and the agency to choose our responses. Acknowledging this autonomy is the first step towards personal empowerment and freedom. The authors ask us to implement a two-step self-therapy method. Lazarus and Fay introduce a practical approach to self-improvement. The first item is to identify the irrational belief and the irrational fears that flow from it, causing one's distress. And the second point is where the authors ask us to replace those limiting beliefs, those irrational fears, with constructive thought. This method encourages proactive mental restructuring. The next point to come from this authorship is to understand that change is indeed possible. This book dispels the myths that personality and habits are fixed, asserting that change is attainable whenever one decides to pursue it. The invitation to have a non-fixed mindset and the concept of agency, and that we can change at any time in a heartbeat. The authors also go on to remind us of the importance of avoiding common cognitive mistakes. The authors outline 20 common mental errors that can sabotage our happiness, such as overgeneralization and catastrophizing. Recognizing these limited and disempowering patterns is crucial for one's productive and healthy well-being. We also go on to talk about the importance of cultivating a flexible mindset, because rigid thinking, according to these authors, limits our ability to adapt and grow. Lazarus and Fay advocate for mental flexibility, allowing us to navigate life's challenges more effectively. And the last key point to come from this wonderful book that was published back in 1975 when I was just 15 years of age, and I wish now in hindsight that I had access to it and I read it back then, was to focus on present actions rather than dwelling on past mistakes. Dwelling on past errors, according to these authors, really hinders one's progress. The authors encourage us to focus on current actions and to be present and to look forward to future goals, to live with positive with positivity and with positive expectation, instead of ruminating over and over and over again on previous mishaps and missteps. So there you go. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we've just had a walk and talk and had a joint journey through a book entitled I Can If I Want To by Arnold, Lazarus and Alan Fay. I look forward to coming to you again from another place and with another message of empowerment on my YouTube and TikTok channels, where I've got over 2,000 episodes. I think I'm close to 2,060 at last count, and I will continue to add to the inventory of wisdom, of knowledge, of OPE, other people's experiences, so that we can build a framework and have a resource that can be passed on to future generations. So if anybody is ever in Sydney, I do encourage you to come down to Sydney University and to walk around, and most importantly, to come to the main quadrangle here and take a step back in time It is a beautiful environment, one that just fills you with hope for the future. And as I mentioned before, I do hope that one day my granddaughters, Annabelle, Elizabeth and Poppy, can come here and walk these grounds and hopefully complete some units of tertiary education and make their parents proud, and of course make their grandparents even prouder. So take care, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.